Man, don't
So, in
let,
addition to childhood trouble stories.
yeah, I guess.
They-
One of the, I think I mentioned this another time, but even if I did, I got in trouble one time. I had a boyfriend, I was in freshman, and I had a boyfriend who was, I don't know, he was a real good worker and drop dead gorgeous. And we were dating. And his father, he was an unusual person. He was very much loved by his family and doted upon, but a real hard worker, always worked away from home. So he was a real good kid too, but a little on the wild side, just my speed. So we had a date where his father let him take their old vintage, what was it, a car?
Ford Coupe, about a 19, maybe 40, 39, 40 Ford Coupe.
Vintage coupe.
Yeah.
So he drove from Rochester up to Little Rock, where we were going to a dance. And at that time, the bandstand stuff was just starting. So we were going to, we had dances all around for the high school kids primarily, and it was set up just like bandstand, and they always had dance offs. And he was a really good dancer, better than I was, but really good. And you did tricks and you did all this stuff just like bandstand. And so we went to the Grange Hall, and we had the truck. I mean, this car was just, everybody's talking about it and everything. And so he picked me up and drove me over, and then we did the dancing thing. And then we went to another one, and there was also the same kind of thing. And that was a bigger deal. That was they had the singing and everything at that one, or the band they had music and singing and everything. And my date, it had a refurbished car. Do you know what kind of a car it was? It was like
That Ford, the same one.
Okay, the Ford. It was all
The Ford Coupe.
vintage, just
Right.
perfectly done. Well, the police stopped there at the Grange, and they wanted to know who was driving the truck, because I don't think it had the right kind of license. And so, of course, then it turns out it's a freshman boy who's, I
He
don't
doesn't
know,
have a driver's license.
who's like 12 years old, or no, more than that, 13, maybe he was 13 or 14. And I was that, lower than that, because I was a year behind everybody. And so needless to say, they got in trouble, and one of the sheriffs took me and somebody, I don't know whether Wayne got because phones were not like they were. I don't know how it worked, but somebody took care of Wayne, and somebody took care of me and took me home, which was from distance from Rochester to Little Rock, and took me home, brought me in, came in the house, had me go into the house, and my mom and dad were in bed asleep. And so they came in, and he came in and, turned on the light, and we're in bed. My mom was, luckily, she was so mad that somebody would walk into the house, get her out of bed to deal with this situation. I mean, yeah, even now, if you looked at it, you go, oh my goodness, how was that? So my mom ended up being just furious with the police. And really, I was an innocent victim, because I've been picked up.
Got in the car with the 14-year-old.
Well, I was probably He might have been, I might have been 13 even, because I'm a year younger, but she didn't get mad at, she knew I was going with Wayne
And she
to
kept
this.
that anger for a long time.
A long
I
time.
can remember her saying things. I've never been so mad. Here's this sheriff in my bedroom.
Right. And it was
middle
just
of the
bringing me home, to make a point, I guess. So that was another one that I got in trouble, but it ended up, my mom was way more mad at the sheriff than she was at me.
Well, every once in a while we would be drinking on the nights that we were out.
Yeah.
Most of the time just drinking beer or McNaughton's, but
I did not drink.
What is McNaughton?
it's a whiskey. Yeah. But
I didn't drink.
one
I don't drink.
one
I
night
did
my
not
brother
drink.
had a little bit more than a noticeable amount to drink, and so the sheriff's deputy got a hold of him at Sweet Hall and made him sit in the eating area at Sweet Hall and show him on a map the best hunting areas to go to. So he sat there and marked the map,
Yep.
the best places to park his car and to walk in to go deer hunting in
That's
the Mount St. Helens
amazing.
area.
That's
Until he
amazing.
was there, had a cup of coffee, and he could turn him loose.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, people didn't, they didn't get in trouble they wouldn't arrest you. They would take
But it
you
was a
home.
learning experience.
Or like that, make you sit, or make you maybe have your parents come and get you. But you weren't arrested or anything.
Grandpa, since this is kind of a random one, tell me about the garbage can beer that's with Centralia College, I think?
It's Centralia College, yeah. The brewery on Rock Street in Centralia.
Was it a brewery?
Yeah, it was our brewery.
Okay.
We made beer. Couple guys from Labam and Francis out towards Highway 6 were living in Centralia on Rock Street, and so they would make home brew all the time. And you wouldn't make, you won't make a 5-gallon batch, you'd make it in a garbage can, and then have a big party to bottle it, and in our refrigerator, and we bottled it in quarts. Because at that time you could get just quart beer bottles and recapables. So we just bottled it in quarts,
Yep.
and we stack them like firewood in the refrigerator. So the refrigerator would be full of beer. And then when the beer was ready, we would drink it and then make some more. But it was kind of always available at the house there. But then on Fridays, a lot of times we took just about a 1.5 gallon or 2-gallon crock, the type of crock, and a piece of surgical hose into chemistry or into physics class. And so we'd sit in the back row, and we'd have this crock sitting behind our seats and a piece of surgical hose that went into it. And so there was about 4 of us in the back row, and so we just sat there and we'd discreetly suck on the surgical hose and then pass it to the next one, and we'd drink a gallon of beer in physics class. So, and nobody ever said anything.